watching the price drop like crazy is hard. And yes, many sold off saying we are going to zero. Question is, are we? If you go back in history, look at this. 2017, before we pushed 10x higher, we had a 72% correction from the most recent highs. And where are you right now? You are around 65%. So based on different exchanges, that varies. In different exchange, it already reached around 0.25, 0.22. So we already have reached that correction. And that is at a point where price meets the upside trend line support. So that was around 0.25, but we are wicking way lower right now in different exchanges. If you go and look at somewhere near 0.21, 0.22, it's different, right? So we'll have to look at the daily close and where the price actually close. If it is closing below this trend line, that is a symbol for caution. But if you remember, for the last 2 to 3 months, we were always updating you guys. I told you guys that we will come at a point where they will try to get your XRP. If you saw this one, you already understood that. If you saw this one 1 month ago, you already understood that, right? They were always trying to take your XRP from you in one way or the other. And now that's really happening. And yeah, I didn't have that crystal ball, so I also didn't know that it's going to be this shit here. So no one is completely prepared. The only thing you can do is to be having that perspective of an investor, which is mentally strong and think without emotions. And that is something which you need to understand this market, because in this market there is a lot of manipulation happening. If you want to think like an investor, you also need to have all of these information. Now, stay tuned as we move through these information, because these are really necessary to understand right now. Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. When we look at different exchanges highlighting that they may delist or they are delisting, you have to understand there are some giants who understood that this is coming. Say yesterday we talked about Kraken. They had the license for the banking, so they don't have to worry about SEC. Securities are not an issue for them. They can do that based on their services. Now it's Coinbase. So they don't actually need regulatory clarity. So where are you actually looking at, right? And then you can see this one. Settlement and received waiver from SEC. So yesterday we talked about block 1 and today there is another one. So these issues which you see as of now are just something like Tika highlighted previously in the last bull market. And it's the same each and every bull market, just the issue varies. And those who are new to this market will always be the prey which they are going to eat, because they are looking who to kick out from this market, make that liquidity more and take more money, because they always want to do one thing: take your money away from you and profit. If you remember a week or so back, maybe a couple of weeks, I used to talk about this particular chart, highlighting that, say, the scenario which we are having right now is something similar to this. Say we compare it as 0.78 here and other levels in the middle, then 0.46. You have to understand, even after that, we had a drop here, which kind of kicked out a lot of investors and then moved slowly, but it consolidated a long time before it pumped. So it kind of took around 5-6 months before that next pump to the upside. But the total correction there was 72%. So as of now, if you are going to look at the XRP chart on a real time, you can match that here. Say use a measurement tool and place it here. You'll understand we are near that. Now it depends on different exchanges you are trading in. Say if you are directly going into XRP USD on CoinMarketCap, you still see the price at 0.25. Now the same if you're going into XRP's chart on Coin Paprika, you get to see 0.235. So these are different. Now if you go into different exchanges, you'll again get different values for XRP based on the buy and sell on that exchange. So there will always be a different little bit of divergence, and this is a hint that there is a lot of guys who really don't want you to hold this asset. Yesterday I showed you IMF, BIS and others are looking in long term for this asset class. Now in the general market cycle, a couple of days back I highlighted this. The altcoin market is at a point where it can break to the upside or to the downside, and it may move 30% to the downside. And that 30% down means it's going to break this support level and test this one, right? And if you look at XRP, it came way back 50% down, and the alts are generally down. BTC dominance is rising and it's reaching this peak here. Say around 70%, we may see a retracement in BTC, and that will slow down the alts and push it to the upside or reverse the direction now. Those who think these news and updates are just for XRP don't actually get this. Say here, Ran actually highlights Dear Coinbase in 2017. You sold me an unregistered security on your exchange. These are just FUD for me based on XRP. Because when you are looking at the general market, you have to understand these are not only for one asset. If they are going to take this action against this one, then the next asset is also in their eyes. They would be eyeing the next one in the similar manner. Those assets which deals with payments and have that utility, we know that it's going to succeed in the long run, but in the short run, a lot of guys don't want the retail investors to get another 1400x from the capital. Instead, they want their institutional positions to get all of those. And for that, they will try as much as possible to kick you guys out. Just clean this chart and look, kick you guys out with massive drops and then move all the way upside. Because if you are looking at this, you should also understand, say, if the price of this asset is moving, it should actually go way back till here. Still, it's not zero, right? When they say it's going to zero, what they don't understand is when the price is around to say 0.78 or 0.5, 10% drop means say from 0.5, it's 0.45. But from 0.3, a 10% drop is to 0.27, and from 0.2, a 10% drop is to 0.18. So as you go down in price, it's easy to accumulate, that's one thing, and it's really hard to push the price even down. So if the whales want to manipulate even more to push the price even lower, it's getting hard and hard for them as the price goes down, and it's getting easier for you to get more units for your capital. So that's actually easy manner to think about it for you. And always remember, when the blood is there on the street, even if it is yours, it is the right time to buy. If you're an investor, a long-term investor, thinking for a next bull market, the entire market cycle, you should have that kind of a thought process. Otherwise, it's going to harm your portfolio. Because if you're jumping ship at this moment from XRP to another asset, you're already down 50%. Say your average is 0.16 and you're still in green, and you decide, okay, I'm going to jump this ship. Why didn't you do that when the price was at 0.78? When the price was at 0.75, we called out, you can take some of your positions. So even if it drops, you don't have regrets. And now, those guys at that time were saying, no, we are going to 1.5. And when we are correcting to the downside, with this news, it's just accelerating the panic mode of most of the retail buyers. They're not looking at the long picture, they're just looking at the current events, and they are emotional. Like, the emotions are kicking in, psychology is kind of pushing them to the end where they are in the panic mode and selling each and every positions they own. And it's really not only the retail traders. We are seeing institutions doing the same. When the altcoin market is pointing towards the correction, BTC dominance is rising, you already expect something like this to happen, but not this far. Yeah, I do agree, not this far, because we had support lines around 0.35, 0.38, then 0.32. Each and every support lines were obliterated while this SEC news came out. So on a real time, when you look at this, you can easily say that these support lines were valid for a year. We broke through about that. Now when we go up again, yes, the chances are 0.3435 area is going to be a resistance again. Now on a longer term scenario, when you look at this stuff, you can again plot all of your support lines and see where the price is right now. So if you are obliterating these as well, then the price is going towards 0.2. But those who missed the chance to accumulate this asset in the accumulation zone, which we were considering all the way from 0.3 towards that 0.11 mark, they now have another opportunity if they still believe in this project for the long run. If you go into these news, it's kind of clear, right? Say this stands here highlighted by the ordinary guy. If you look at this, he is currently the director of Securities and Exchange Commission, and if you go back and see this in the Ripple Insights, the quote here, the SEC is completely wrong on the facts and low, and we are confident we will ultimately prevail, blah 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 blah, and you come at the bottom, you look at the quote here, wow, that's not bad. And who's that guy? He is here. Andrew is right now director of the Division of Enforcement. Okay, that's cool. So as you move forward, you get different news which you really have to connect the dots with. And this is a guy who usually doesn't actually do that. But here he is. And if you read through this thread here, it's really interesting. He shows you the connection with one firm, then they are connected to another one using the same approach, and they want you to jump out of this. They want to take out this scenario of payments in cross-border. They want to take out that. So you as an investor can understand that the status quo or the current giants in the market are looking to take profits, make profits in the near future. When they say near future, it would be next 3 to 5 years or 10 years for them. But for us, that's long-term scenario. Considering each of these scenarios from your end and the institutional side, status quo will never let the disruptors disrupt easily and make that money and go. They won't let that happen easily. They will fight till the end, and that's what you can easily see. When you go through this thread, there's a lot of information which I can't share in one video here. So I'm giving you this thread. If you want to read through it, go follow Santiago, and that's a perfect information for the day, because if you are looking at that and then connecting things which is happening around you, even institutional investors are jumping out. They know that this is bad, but we don't actually know how much they are owning at the back end when the price is dropping. Because as an investor, even from Buffett, you listen to this like, when there is blood on the street, that's when you should buy. And now that's common sense as an investor, but it's not the common practice. And it also is highlighted that even if that is your own blood, and if you want to make those gap back in terms of profit, then yes, you should think about buying that opportunity when the price is at the bottom. Because in the history, you can clearly see giants will drive the price down to the bottom in one way or the other, and then they will buy it back at those price levels. In this particular video, if you go to YouTube and check for Tika Tiwari and his explanations there, it's easy. You will understand everything. Otherwise, if you follow LED XRP in Twitter, you can get this short part there highlighting how they drive the price down. They just scare the retail and small guys and then accumulate at the back end, because they know that this technology is going to take off and the asset value is so huge, but the price is not reflecting that as of now. Now, if you remember, there was a ratio between XRP, Ether, XRP, XLM and other stuff. And right now, considering those, it's really cheap. And if you are considering an opportunity here, then you will understand that the opportunity you are considering right now for this price has a lot of value. Bank XRP highlighted this. Canada Post is the post office in Canada. For those that don't know, this means every post office in Canada has a MoneyGram service for at least another 5 years. So if we see another corridor towards Canada, don't be surprised. These are just another step in expansion, being a Ripple partner in the payment space, cross-border payment space. That's really interesting. Now, if you forget all of these fundamentals of this particular asset, which happened from last 3, 4, 5 years, it's all, these are the accretion of your knowledge. Now, if you have all of this knowledge, you currently have a concreted foundation. That market works like this. But ultimately, in the long run, the price will reflect the value. But yes, in the meantime, there would be whales, there would be the status quo and everyone else trying to push the price down to buy more at that bottom, because they can't buy this asset as much as possible when the price is at the bottom. Why? Because they can directly go there and buy 200 million worth of XRP, 200 million dollar worth of XRP, because that will shift the market right away. They can't do that. They will have to dip their toe each time, and then the price goes up. The retail investors catch up, they chase the market, the price goes again up, and they miss the opportunity to buy at the bottom. So they want the price at the bottom. They are using different tactics to use the market to the downside. They'll just push this from the top. The rest is done by the emotions and the psychology of the retail investors. They will put out a news like this, and they will just say they sold some of their positions. The retail guys just follows. They are in a panic mode. Them itself will drive the price as low as possible, and at the back end, these institutions will be scooping up at this price. You have to understand, these are being highlighted in every different central bank discussion. IMF, BIS, UN, and all different all these organizations, when they talk about cross-border payments, even in the Congress of US, they have asked, are you familiar with XRP and the efforts of Ripple in cross-border payments? They knew that, right? But the status quo, which is being established from last 40 years with over 11,000 institutions, they will try their level best to stop this disruption. So now it's completely up to you whether you should be thinking like a hater, you should be thinking like an investor, you should be looking like a trader. Because if you are looking like a trader, you can see similar opportunities in the past where we drop all the way back 72% from the most recent high, and then you come back here into your XRP chart, look at it in terms of percentage. Now you can actually measure your percentage from the top here and then take it to the bottom where we reached recently. It's similar, 71%, and here it was 72%. And right now, after that wick, we are going back up, meaning the price went towards 0.22, and right now it's at 0.24. So each dead cat bounce will attract some buyers, and then sellers will push in, kick them out. This will go on unless this trend is changed. But right now the trend line is holding, and you should look where this candle get closed on a daily and how the following candle reacts. If it is having a green candle coming back into this trading range, that's cool. That's obvious that we are making this trend. We are coming back, and the next level should be 0.5. During this kind of a bearish turn, it's really hard to hold all the community together. But if you can, that's the best thing to do in the long run. I hope you received value for your time, and if you did, please do hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next day. Bye for now.